Today is we're going to look at printer interface or Pronterface, and what we're going to do is just make sure the X, Y, and Z axis and the extrusion are working. So we're going to work through some of this stuff. This is the initial part of how to set up your software for your printer. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to set this port, and since I'm working on a Mac, it might be a little different than your Windows. Your Windows should be maybe a COM1, a COM2, depending on how you set up your USB port. So basically what we want to do, mine's disconnected right now, but I know my printer is set to this port. So then what I want to do is, and I know I want that baud rate, which is this, and I'm going to connect to that printer. So it's going to connect it in, it's connecting. I can reset that. First thing that I want to do is monitor printer. This monitors the temperature and things like this. Down here it says you can set your temperature and it'll raise and lower as the temperature changes on the bed or the extruder. What we're going to do is we can load a file, we can do all of this stuff, but that stuff's coming. So basically what we want to do is we want to make sure the X and Y axis and Z axis are moving. So first thing what we want to do is, if you notice, this is set up, this is the Y direction. And this, these ones, 0.1, 1, 10, and 100, they are orders of magnitude different. So if 100, it would actually go off the screen, or off, it may go off the bed. So basically what we want to do is we want to just hit 10 increments. So make sure you just want to be on here, and this is the plus 10. And as you can hear, maybe in the background, maybe not, you can hear the bed moving. Again, this would be negative. Y over here would be X, and that's when you should see the carriage on the top moving, or Y. Again, you don't want to hit 100 because that may run into something else if you don't have it stop in that direction. So again, we notice that they are moving in the Y direction, they are moving in the X direction, and now what we want to do, instead of moving the Z direction, and notice how it only goes up to 10. Basically what we want to do is we want to click on 10. We don't want to click on the negative because that's going to run right into, that may run right into our table, and we want to be very, very careful of that. So again, we want to make sure all of our stuff is running. And what we also want to do is, if you notice that we set up our printer from 210 and 90 in the configuration file, but what we want to do is, this is kind of odd. This off is not a toggle switch, and this off is not a toggle switch for the heater bed, or the heater for this says off. It's setting it to off. Basically what we have to do is we can change it here. What we want to do is we want to set that temperature. And again, you can see this blue line monitoring this blue line here, and then you can see as it creeps up, the temperature of the heater goes up. So if you have everything correctly, this should be working. Again, we want the bed to be set to 90, or maybe even a little less depending on what, but this is again just to make sure everything is working. We're not going anywhere, we just want to make sure everything is working. So turn everything off, and then we can, once that gets up to speed, we can extrude that, and that's about it for now.